it's Damal here. Welcome back to another episode of Antimicrobial Training. Today, the topic of discussion will be aminoglycosides. We are going to go over a scenario which a physician encounters a patient that would be a great candidate for an aminoglycoside. So, here we encounter a physician who is reviewing a patient that could be a potential candidate for an aminoglycoside therapy. Unfortunately, the physician claims to not be very confident in this area of antibiotics. He discloses that he missed all the aminoglycosides lecture while in school and chooses to avoid them at all costs, just because he is unsure of when to use them. But no fear! The infectious disease pharmacist is here!
So I hear you may be unfamiliar with how and when to use aminoglycosides for your patients.
Well, Miss Amazing, awesome, and absolutely fantastic ID pharmacist,
Oh, thank you.
I'm unfamiliar and I would be delighted for you to educate me.
Why, I would love to educate you. So let's begin. Aminoglycosides work by binding to the 30S ribosomal subunit of bacterial RNA and distorting its structure, which leads to the misreading of the bacteria's genetic code, and then finally inhibition of protein synthesis. Aminoglycosides exhibit concentration dependence and bactericidal killing.
Oh, wow.
Some of the most common agents include gentamicin, tobramycin, and amikacin.
I like that one.
Before I continue, do you have any questions?
Not yet. You make it so easy to learn. I really am excited to hear about what these antimicrobials can cover and how we can use them.
Great. ID pharmacists are happy to be here. Generally, aminoglycosides can cover an array of bacteria. For gram-negatives, aminoglycosides have coverage against Enterobacteriaceae, including Klebsiella, E. coli, Proteus, the indole-positive and indole-negative.
Really?
Yes, Enterobacter, Citrobacter, and Serratia. Aminoglycosides can even cover Yersinia pestis and spacem organisms, including Pseudomonas aeruginosa, Acinetobacter, Morganella, and Providencia. For gram-positives, aminoglycosides have shown to provide some coverage, be it weak, against Enterococcus species, Streptococcus species, and Staphylococcus species. Aminoglycosides don't cover anaerobes, however, atypical coverage has been seen with amikacin against Mycobacterium tuberculosis, Mycobacterium avium complex, and Mycobacterium kansasi, and even additional gram-positive coverage for nocardia.
Wow, that is a ton of gram-negative coverage. I didn't even realize we could use aminoglycosides in gram-positives. Can you explain how this happens?
Of course! Great question. Aminoglycosides can have adequate coverage of gram-positives through what we call synergy. We like to say it like that. Synergy. Yes. So synergy is essentially enhanced killing of an organism when an aminoglycoside is combined with another specific antimicrobial. Synergy can simply be achieved by the addition of a beta-lactam antibiotic to an aminoglycoside.
So how could I possibly apply all this information to my patient? My patient is currently suffering from a urinary tract infection caused by Pseudomonas, and they happen to be resistant to everything except gentamicin. I wasn't sure if I could use this, or if it could even be an option, but now I think I have to consider it. Tell me more so I can make a decision.
Boy, I can tell you all about antibiotics for days. So why don't we just start with dosing? Aminoglycosides can be dosed in two separate fashions. One, high-dose extended interval dosing, as can be seen in the orange table, and two, conventional dosing, which is represented by the yellow table. For the purpose of this video, today we are going to focus on high-dose extended interval dosing. For high-dose extended interval dosing, the following are calculated via total body weight. However, if the patient is obese, then we will be using adjusted body weight. This may be unlike what you have been told in school to use ideal body weight for all aminoglycoside dosing. However, for today's aminoglycoside episode, we will be focusing on the Jackson Memorial Hospital dosing protocol. Based off of the dose indicated for a patient, we will then draw a trough 30 minutes prior to a specified dose, as can be seen here by the gray table. The dosing interval can indicate when a trough should be taken in order to determine how to properly dose adjust. Dose adjustments are determined based off of nomograms. This one in particular is known as the aminoglycoside Hartford nomogram. We can use this to help guide our dosing strategy. So, for your non-obese patient with a UTI due to Pseudomonas, we can go ahead and start with a gentamicin 3 mg per kg, which will equal to about 180 milligrams IV every 24 hours according to his creatinine clearance. Once we initiate your patient on this regimen, we will take a gentamicin trough level 30 minutes before the second dose, and the goal trough will be less than 0.6 to ensure high peaks for killing and undetectable troughs. And we want an undetectable trough because we want to make sure we're preventing resistance, and we will adjust the frequency of the dose accordingly by using the Jackson Memorial Hospital aminoglycoside dosing protocol. Aminoglycosides also exhibit a post-antibiotic effect, which means there's continued bactericidal killing once these antibiotics are discontinued.
Sounds like a plan. Now this is why I need an ID pharmacist like you on my team. So I heard some side effects of aminoglycosides, including nephrotoxicity due to high troughs and ototoxicity due to high peaks. Is this true?
That is true, Dr. Grant Bushman. Thank you for bringing that up. That was my next point. So yes, nephrotoxicity and ototoxicity are two major adverse effects that we monitor for with aminoglycosides. We need to make sure we are checking their BUN, their serum creatinine, and creatinine clearance for the renal toxicity, to name a few, and monitor for any potential tinnitus, hearing loss, vertigo, things like that, to monitor for ototoxicity.
Golly, gee, am I ever so grateful to have you educate me on aminoglycosides today. You have been very helpful, and I hope to see more infectious disease pharmacists around sooner than later, because you guys are just amazing.
Glad to be of service. Anytime, Dr. Grant. We love to be a part of the team. See you next time.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Antimicrobial Training on IDTV, channel 257-634-8602. Until next time, see you guys later, okay?